If you're watching this, you probably have friends, or at least you think you have friends. But some of the relationships you see in cartoons, those aren't friendships. They're just complete disasters. In this video, we're going to talk about the absolute worst cartoon friends you'd rather not have. So stick around, because I've hidden a $10 gift card somewhere in this video. And trust me, it's easier to find than a real friend in some of these cartoons. Let's dive in. Fucked up cartoon friendships, number 1. Look, I know y'all are fans of SpongeBob and Patrick, but let's get real here. This isn't a friendship. This is a toxic, codependent disaster disguised as comedy. Patrick isn't just dumb, he's destructively dumb. There's a difference between being clumsy and actively ruining your best friend's life because you don't have 2 brain cells to rub together. Think about how many times Patrick has done something that's gotten SpongeBob in serious trouble. You remember that episode where Patrick pretended to be a genius just to get SpongeBob's respect? He kept the charade going for so long that SpongeBob started to question his own intelligence. SpongeBob literally had a breakdown, thinking he was the dumb one in the friendship. Imagine that level of emotional manipulation from your best friend. That's not just a bad friend. That's emotional warfare. Then, there's the time Patrick decided to help SpongeBob with his boating test and only ended up causing a huge wreck. Every time Patrick gets involved, things go sideways. It's like he's a walking disaster in SpongeBob's life, but SpongeBob is too kind to cut him off. Let's be real. Patrick is the friend who accidentally ruins your life and then says, "Oops, my bad." This dude would burn down your house trying to light a candle. Fun to hang out with? Sure. But if this guy is your best friend, you might want to reconsider your life choices. F that starfish.
Likes Patrick more than SpongeBob.
Patrick is a dirty, stinky, rotten friend.
Next up, we've got the infamous frenemies, Tom and Jerry. Now, I know what you're thinking. They're not even friends, they're enemies? But hold up, because sometimes these two do act like friends. When it benefits them, of course. And that's where things get super toxic. One minute, they're trying to kill each other with frying pans and mousetraps, and the next minute, they're teaming up to take down a bigger enemy. It's like they forget all the horrible things they've done to each other just because they hate someone else more. That's not friendship. That's just convenience. Remember all those times they suddenly stopped fighting just to get rid of the bulldog or to outsmart the evil cat duo? It's like they're best buddies until the common thread is gone, and then it's right back to trying to knock each other out. That's not how friends act. Honestly, this friendship is just a never-ending cycle of betrayal. And you know what's worse? They could be good friends if they actually tried, but instead, they choose violence. Every single time. They'd rather see the other one suffer than actually get along for more than 5 minutes. Tom and Jerry, grow up. Alright, let's talk about a duo that everyone thinks is super tight, but underneath, there's some real toxicity. Finn and Jake. On the surface, they seem like the perfect pair. Best friends who go on epic adventures and fight monsters together. But when you really look at their relationship, things aren't as perfect as they seem. Jake is lazy, like really lazy. And because of that, Finn is often left to clean up his messes or take on more responsibility than he should. Jake might be the older, wiser friend, but he acts like a slacker most of the time, and Finn has to pick up the slack. Think about all the times Jake bailed on Finn to go do his own thing. Whether it was hanging out with Lady Rainicorn or just lounging around while Finn fought off some dangerous monster, Jake was nowhere to be found when Finn needed him the most. That's not what a good friend does. Finn is always there for Jake, but Jake isn't always there for Finn. And let's not forget how Jake constantly encourages Finn to take unnecessary risks. Sure, some of those risks lead to cool adventures, but other times they end in complete disaster. Jake's lack of responsibility puts Finn in danger, and Finn, being the loyal friend he is, just goes along with it. It's like Finn doesn't even realize how one-sided their friendship is. Finn deserves a friend who's just as committed and reliable as he is. Jake might be fun to hang out with, but he's definitely not the dependable friend Finn needs. Do better, Jake. Before we go any further, if you're still here and vibing with the video, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button and hit the like. Don't be that person who misses out on all the fun. Support the channel, and I promise there's a lot more heat coming your way. Let's keep it going. Now, let's move on to another pair of best friends who are more like walking chaos generators, Mordecai and Rigby. These two are the definition of toxic friendship. Sure, they're always together, but all they do is drag each other into trouble, and most of the time, it's Rigby's fault. Rigby is like that friend who constantly pressures you to do stupid things, even when you know better. Remember the time Rigby convinced Mordecai to throw a party at work? Yeah, that ended with their boss being turned into a ghost and a massive mess they had to clean up. Rigby always has these wild, irresponsible ideas, and instead of stopping him, Mordecai just goes along with it. It's like Mordecai doesn't have a backbone. It's not even like Mordecai doesn't know better. He's perfectly aware that Rigby's ideas are trash, but he's just too lazy or indifferent to say no. And that's the real issue here. Mordecai could be the voice of reason, but instead he's like, hey, why not? And dives headfirst into whatever chaos Rigby is stirring up. At some point, you've got to wonder if Mordecai is just enabling Rigby's terrible decisions. Like, this isn't just bad influence, it's straight up a cycle of self-destruction. Rigby pulls Mordecai down, Mordecai lets it happen, and they both crash and burn together. What kind of friendship is that? Get your shit together, guys. Last but definitely not least, we've got one of the most dysfunctional friendships in cartoon history, Bender and Fry from Futurama. This one is just a train wreck from the start. Bender is, hands down, one of the worst friends you could ask for. He's selfish, manipulative, and only cares about himself. And Fry's too naive to realize how toxic this relationship really is. Bender is the kind of friend who would steal your wallet, spend all your money, and then somehow convince you it was your fault.
Let's go! I love stealing. I love taking things.
He constantly drags Fry into his schemes, whether it's robbing a bank, cheating at poker, or scamming people for money. And Fry, being the gullible idiot he is, always goes along with it. What's even more frustrating is that Fry doesn't seem to get how bad Bender is for him. He's constantly making excuses for Bender's behavior like, oh, that's just Bender being Bender. No, Fry, that's Bender being a terrible friend. But because Fry's so desperate for companionship, he lets Bender walk all over him. Bender, on the other hand, takes full advantage of Fry's loyalty. He knows that no matter what he does, Fry will forgive him. So he never learns, never grows, and never treats Fry with the respect he deserves. This friendship is a one-way street where Bender always gets what he wants, and Fry is left picking up the pieces. The sad part is, Fry doesn't even realize how much better he could do. He's so used to Bender's antics that he's blind to the fact that he's being used. It's painful to watch, honestly. Bender, you're the worst. So there you have it. The most toxic, worst cartoon friendships ever. If you thought your friends were bad, just take a second to reconsider after seeing this mess. I mean, it's fun to laugh at all these dumb situations, but let's be real. If your friends are anything like these cartoons, it might be time to cut them out of your life. Friendships are supposed to make your life better, not drag you into chaos or destroy your self-esteem. And these cartoon friendships, they're the perfect example of what not to look for in a friend. Sure, they're fun to watch, but imagine actually having to live through this kind of madness. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video because I've got a lot more to say about the cartoon world. And hey, if you think I missed some bad friendships, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll do a part 2 if I feel like it. But probably not. Until next time, peace out.